Have you ever realized that the people who say they love you the most only seem to need you when it benefits them? Have you ever smiled through family gatherings while quietly carrying the weight of everyone's expectations? I never imagined that one Christmas decision would completely change the way my family saw me and the way I finally saw myself. I didn't start a fight. I didn't argue. I didn't make a dramatic speech. I simply packed my suitcase, boarded a plane, and chose myself for the very first time. What happened after that became the greatest Christmas gift any of us could have received. Before we begin, welcome to Heartline Stories. If you enjoy emotional stories about kindness, family, and second chances, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Your support helps us bring more heartfelt stories to life. Every Christmas, my parents hosted the biggest family celebration in our small town. My older brother, Ryan, and his wife always arrived with their 3 energetic children. My younger sister usually brought her twins. The house was full of laughter, music, wrapping paper, and the smell of fresh cookies. To everyone else, it looked perfect. To me, it felt like another year of unpaid work. The moment I walked through the front door, my mother would smile and say, "There you are. The kids have been waiting for you." That wasn't because they missed me. It meant I was officially the babysitter. While everyone else enjoyed coffee, exchanged gifts, and laughed around the fireplace, I chased toddlers, changed diapers, cleaned spilled juice, and settled arguments over toys. By the end of every Christmas, I was exhausted while everyone thanked my parents for another wonderful holiday. No one thanked me. I was 32 years old, single, and worked hard as a pediatric nurse. Maybe because I wasn't married or didn't have children, everyone assumed my time belonged to them. The final straw came a week before Christmas. I stopped by my parents' house to drop off a pie. I wasn't trying to listen, but I heard my mom laughing in the kitchen. "Don't worry," she told Ryan. "Emily will watch all 5 kids again. She always does. That way the adults can relax." Ryan laughed. "She's basically our Christmas nanny." They all laughed together. No one realized I was standing just outside the doorway. I quietly placed the pie on the counter and left without saying a word. That night, instead of crying, I opened my laptop. For years I had dreamed of visiting Vermont during Christmas. Snow-covered mountains, cozy cabins, quiet mornings, and no responsibilities except enjoying life. Within 20 minutes, I booked the trip. I rented a tiny cabin overlooking a frozen lake and smiled for the first time in weeks. 3 days before Christmas, I called my parents. "I won't be coming this year." Silence. "What do you mean?" my mother asked. "I'll be away." "But, who will watch the children?" There it was. Not "we'll miss you." Not "are you okay?" Only one question. Who would babysit? "I'm sure you'll figure something out." Then I wished them a Merry Christmas and ended the call. Within minutes my phone exploded. Ryan accused me of being selfish. My sister said I was ruining family traditions. My mother left 3 voicemails saying everyone was counting on me. No one asked why I needed a break. No one wondered how I felt. So I turned off my phone. When Christmas morning arrived, I woke up to the peaceful sound of snow falling outside my cabin. I made hot chocolate, wrapped myself in a blanket, and watched deer slowly cross the frozen field. For the first time in years, Christmas felt peaceful. Later that afternoon, I visited a small community center where volunteers were serving holiday meals. The organizer looked overwhelmed. "We're short a few hands today," she said with an apologetic smile. "I'm a nurse," I replied. "Tell me where I'm needed." For the next several hours, I helped serve meals, played games with children, and spent time talking with elderly people who would otherwise spend Christmas alone. One elderly woman named Margaret quietly held my hand. "My daughter lives across the country," she whispered. "I didn't think anyone would sit with me today." We talked for nearly an hour. She told me stories about her late husband, their first Christmas together, and how kindness always mattered more than expensive presents. Before I left, she hugged me tightly. "You gave me the best gift today," she said. You reminded me that I'm not forgotten. As I drove back to my cabin that evening, tears filled my eyes. For years, I had spent Christmas feeling invisible. Yet complete strangers had made me feel valued in just one afternoon. Meanwhile, back home, things hadn't gone exactly as planned. I learned later that my parents and siblings had to take turns caring for their own children. Dinner was delayed. The adults barely had time to sit down together. Instead of relaxing, everyone discovered just how much work I had quietly carried every single year. When I returned home after Christmas, I expected more criticism. Instead, my father surprised me. He asked if we could talk. He looked older than I remembered. We were wrong, he admitted. I never realized how much we expected from you. A few days later, my mother visited my apartment. She brought homemade cookies and something I had never heard from her before. I'm sorry. She explained that after spending Christmas managing 5 children herself, she finally understood how unfair everything had been. I thought you didn't mind. I minded, I answered softly. I just didn't think anyone cared. She began to cry. I care. From that day forward, things slowly changed. The following Christmas, everyone shared responsibilities. The children had organized activities. The adults cleaned together. Nobody assumed I would automatically take over. Even more surprising, Ryan walked up to me during dinner. I owe you an apology, he said. I treated you like free childcare instead of my sister. He handed me a small gift. Inside was a silver bracelet engraved with 4 simple words. You matter too. I still wear it today. Not because of the bracelet itself, but because it reminds me of something many people forget. Kindness begins with seeing the people closest to us. It's easy to appreciate strangers. It's harder to notice the quiet sacrifices made by family members who never complain. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do isn't saying yes. Sometimes kindness means setting healthy boundaries. Because when we constantly give without receiving respect, we slowly disappear. But when we value ourselves, we also teach others how to value us. That Christmas trip didn't break my family. It saved it. It forced honest conversations, open hearts, and replaced unhealthy expectations with genuine appreciation. Most importantly, it reminded all of us that love should never feel like unpaid labor. Real love notices. Real love thanks. Real love shares the load. And real kindness starts at home. So if you've ever felt overlooked, remember this: choosing peace is not selfish. Resting is not selfish. Saying no with love is not selfish. Sometimes your quietest decision becomes the loudest lesson. May we all choose kindness not only toward others, but toward ourselves. Because when we treat ourselves with compassion, we create space for stronger families, deeper friendships, and brighter hearts. Thank you for spending this story with Heartline Stories. Until next time, may your kindness always find its way back to you, especially during the moments you need it most.